I wish I could do that at work. I wish someone would start talking to me. I'd just be like, "Nice to see you," and just go walk away. We don't have to do this. We don't need to have this conversation. How was your weekend? Good. Mine was fine. Nice to see you.
PJ, you want to go? You want me to take it over?
No, I go. I go. That's all I need. Jeez. This is why we don't do it on Mondays. Totally fried already.
Guys getting processed at CVS.
What's the turnaround time on this? A week? That's not going to work.
It was half his vacation at Disney World, half following a dangerous assassin around the world.
Hey guys, welcome in and thanks for joining us for episode 15. In honor of the movie we'll be discussing, Real Genius, we all decided to get up a little bit later and just pick out whatever we could find at the grocery store to drink. So I'm going to throw it to Taylor and find out what he's got today. Taylor, what do you got?
So today I got a nice tall boy of Narragansett lager. Right there. This beer is fine. I actually don't hate it as much as I hate Sam Summer, because at least this beer knows what it is. It's a light, fairly easy drinking lager. Points taken away because it's called Narragansett and it's brewed in New York, which I just find hilarious. But it's a classic beer. We did Jaws a couple weeks back. It's obviously made famous by Jaws, and yeah, it was easy to grab. You can find it everywhere out here. Obviously, people go crazy for this stuff. Yeah, it's for a cheap, easy drinking lager. I would do this over most of the bigger names. This beer is solid.
I don't think I've ever had one of those before, honestly.
You haven't had one before, but you've had one before. It's pretty generic. There's
might be the best description of that beer ever.
There's not a whole lot going on here. It's a lager.
Narragansett. You may have never had one before, but you've had one before.
That's good.
But hey, been around since 1890, 130 years in, so obviously they're doing something right.
Well, I went ahead and picked up Bud Light, is what I got. And, I gotta tell you, it is awful. Even in the bigger bottle, it's just as bad. It doesn't get better at all. It's just really, really bad. It tastes like water. It doesn't taste like anything. It's super awful. I wish I could give you any more of a description, but it's just Bud Light. Everybody knows Bud Light. They all drink it. It's super simple. I guess it's probably what Narragansett tastes like. Is that how you say it? Is it Narragansett?
Narragansett. Yep. Yeah.
It probably tastes exactly the same. It's rice water. It's really thin.
Yeah, rice. Yeah, it's rice water.
Some genius figured out that they can make beer with rice and it's super cheap, so they were like, let's do that for everything, and it's really bad.
It's really bad. Well, and then plus when you get the 40 ounce.
That right now. I love it. It's just great.
I do feel good. I wish that I couldn't find paper bags at the store where I got this.
That would have been good.
Yeah, but I want to throw it in there and drink it out of a paper bag because nothing's cooler than making fun of homeless people. But so yeah, nothing's better than making fun of somebody that's down on their luck.
The great part about getting a 40 ounce of Bud Light is you get that last third that's just lukewarm. And
which is when Bud Light shines.
Yeah, it really brings out all those subtle
Or
notes
Bud
that you
Light.
missed when it was super cold.
All right, I'll follow up. I got the good stuff. Hurricane, no big deal.
Follow through.
It is the good stuff. He's not
Yeah.
It is the good stuff. High gravity malt liquor.
high gravity. That's a big
I mean,
thing.
it's on the label, so it's a real thing. I don't know why a label would lie to a person. I don't know what high gravity means, but
No one does. No one knows what it means.
What is the alcohol content on that one?
oh, it'll get you. It's 8.1. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be gone by the end of this episode.
I'm
Yeah.
rocking 4.5.
Yeah, see, that's why you gotta go with real 40s. You gotta go with the big boys. They're gonna
Yeah,
get
the
you.
malt liquor gets you.
So, Hurricane, I mean, just thank you. Well done. I mean, just do what you're going to do. I got to say, and this is probably more just me being a degenerate, like, it's not that bad. Like, I drink it. I'm not disgusted by it. I'm pretty much polishing this first one off. Second one's probably going to come into play before we're done. It's fun. It's drunk.
Is it really sweet? Is it sweet?
No, it honestly it probably tastes like Narragansett. It's just like even for the higher alcohol, it's just generic beer. You just drink it and you're done. It's just higher in alcohol. I will say, good deal at my local supermarket. 2 for $6. No big deal.
PJ's finally coming out ahead, price wise.
Yeah, I mean,
It took us 15 weeks to get him there. but-
all the overspending. 2 for $6. I mean, look, it does what you want afforded to do. I mean, it's not glamorous, it's not sexy, but it's gonna get you there. So we can do this every week.
I'm gonna read your thoughts.
Initial thoughts on Real Genius. PJ, what do you got?
So, Val Kilmer, I love him. Just his existence makes me happy. This movie, I mean, it's I would say it's a classic '80s movie. Just the look of it, the feel is it screams '80s, but which isn't a bad thing. I love it. I think it's very funny. I know I say it, but I love the cast. I love. I'm going to blank on his name. The young kid's name is
Mitch?
Mitch.
Yeah.
Mitch. I think. I mean, he for me makes the movie because he's very believable as like just a young, smart kid who's just really not happy with being young and smart. And then you have Val Kilmer just being who was that person coming in and being more knowledgeable. You know, the sage advice person, like, oh, you know, it can't live that way. It's hilarious. The story is great. I love the story. I really do. I think it makes sense. It feels believable to me. It really does. And it also makes me wish I was just like a genius and could live that life. It doesn't seem terrible. It really doesn't.
Right.
Like Val Kilmer says, like, if you're smart, people need you.
It's true.
It's a good
So
one.
overall, it is, and overall, it's just entertaining as hell, and I loved every part of it.
Cool.
You got Taylor.
So this was the first time I saw this movie.
That's awesome.
It made me. It was almost like Suntory whiskey. It made me want to watch more Val Kilmer movies because I'm definitely lagging behind in that category. But he's. I don't know. For me, I know him from Top Gun, right? Like that's.
Yep.
Like I think Val Kilmer. I think Top Gun. So that's where I go. But then like I was watching it and his sarcasm, his humor, like. He nails like everything he says. Just like, you know, there were a couple of lines that just like, you know, had me laughing. So for the first watch through, I thought It was very good. Loved the soundtrack. Loved the 80s soundtrack. Just like very upbeat and kind of just worked perfectly with every scene they put music to. Was kind of spot on.
Great montage.
Yeah, like
Get into that. Don't ruin it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Too soon.
Initial thoughts, not the whole.
But
movie.
yeah, no, sorry. But like PJ said, like it's a great '80s movie. Like as I was watching it, I was like, this feels like the '80s. Everything about it. I can tell just like off first watch. I have a good amount of quotes written down. Like it's just a quotable movie. It seemed. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I was. Again, I love that you guys are kind of recommending movies that I haven't seen. This one is one I keep on seeing on the Vudu account and just never clicked on it. So very happy I got to watch it.
That's cool. Yeah, my initial thoughts are going to be worst trailer I've ever seen in my entire life.
I didn't watch the trailer.
You watched the trailer? Yeah, what? What is the trailer of this movie?
Yeah, it was bad. I watched it just to because I was trying to get video for us for the cut.
Gotcha.
It's really bad. If you guys have a chance to watch it, it's awful.
I
But no, initial thoughts, seriously.
I want to see it.
Seriously, initial thoughts, amazing. I love it. I've loved this movie for a really long time. Quotes in this movie all the time I use. I love this movie. It's so good. I didn't meet a lot of people that like knew this movie. It's kind of like a cult classic, I would say, because I don't think it was super popular when it came out.
I would say it's even more under the radar than that, even now, I would think. I don't think a lot of people know about it, but I know what you're saying. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's kind of like one of those movies that are just like a few people know about, but it's super funny. I love it so much. I watch it all the time, honestly. I sat down with Amy and I was like, we have to watch Real Genius for this week's episode, and she was like, you make me watch this like 4 times a week. For me, it was like
just another Tuesday.
Yeah, it was like, this is the first time we're ever watching this. You're gonna love this movie. It's really funny. And she like quoted like 3 jokes, and I was like, oh, so we've done this before. All right, cool. But yeah, super good. It's awesome. I love it.
I never actually saw the intro in terms of the credits, like the opening credits. I didn't know that everything, all the credits, all those pictures, whatever they show, it's all about weapons. So like they're setting up the whole movie in that first part. I never knew that.
That's pretty cool.
I never saw it. And then as soon as I was like, oh, it's the first time I watched it. I was like, oh, that's a Gatling gun, or this is a Tom. Like they go through like the beginning of weapons to the end, and I'm like, oh, now this makes sense because at the end of the movie they realized they were. And I thought it was pretty cool. It was cool to see like that, like the actual, like not the actual, but like drawings of the this is this way. I just thought it was a fun intro, and the song was just a good choice. I guess it was unique for those opening credits. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yep. I agree with that. Yeah, I was like I'm thrown off by that intro all the time because it's actually a really long intro too. But
it is
very long.
It's super long.
Like even when they cut to the scene,
when
they cut to the scene of the crossbow, I still think it's like a commercial. Like I don't know what's happening yet until I see the first time that I see like what's the cuts? The first cutscene is Mitch. Yeah, Mitch at the science fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Then I'm like, okay, all right, this is the movie. But that crossbow thing, I'm like, what the hell? Which is freaking hilarious, by the way. That whole scene is awesome. I love the fact that the guy who's serving the dude food has no idea what happens until he turns around. Are you sure? The guy just disintegrated right next to you. Right? I mean, come on. I have an electric stove. If I get too close to it, it's hot. It burns one hair. Everybody knows about it. This guy.
No, because that's what makes the crossbow. Is that the weapon? That's what makes the crossbow so great. You don't know. Incinerated. You turn around. And you're like, oh man, where is it? It's space. It's science. It's God. I don't know. Guy's done. Guy's dead.
It's not how it happened. It's so bad.
I had my first quote from that scene was, "There's no defense like a good offense." So that's the motto of the Big 12 for football. Let's just score 70 points a game.
My first quote from that is, "Weren't enough girls in it." When they ask him what he thinks, he's like, "Weren't enough girls in it." And I'm like, okay, so this is where, that's right, it's an 80s movie. You can say stuff like that.
Love it.
Yeah, get away with
Fantastic. Haven't had a working weapon.
Oh, yeah, I had that one too.
It's a great line.
Yes, it's
Korean. It's hilarious. 80s special effects, I love them. I just love to see them. They're just so fun and believable. Not now, but at the time I look, I'd be like, "Yep, that's spot on special effects." The whole crossbow thing, I just love to see. I was like, you see this like stupid like triangle spaceship going through, and you're like, "What is this thing?" And then it does the whole thing and blows it up. I'm like, 80s, well done.
How about that? The laser holder that was like a 47-inch projection TV.
See, it's funny that you guys are more critical. Like you with Jaws, you were critical of Jaws. When I saw this one, I was like, honestly, not that bad. Yes, watching, I was like, I would have expected much worse, so I'm already on board. I'm glad that you guys are more like, all right, well, it's not really realistic now. But I saw it, and I was just like, I don't know, it's not that bad. Did it win an Oscar?
Love it. I love that the science fair, the whole interaction, like that guy who plays the professor.
Yes, yeah.
I think his whole role in the 80s was being that guy. I think I saw him in like 2 or 3 movies, and he was that guy.
Figure Ghostbusters.
Yep. Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Yep. So like he was that prick, and he does it really well.
He does it very, very well. Totally agree. He does.
But like even his lines were delivered super well. Like the old lady that runs up and she's like, "What is Albert Einstein really like?" And he's like, "Dead."
Yep.
That was the first line where I was on board for this movie. I was like, "Oh, I like this humor already."
Fantastic.
Oh, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I was gonna say, for his lines, I love when the mother and father go up to him and crap. Great says Mitch. Is Mitch by any chance adopted? No. That's amazing. And he says it, and again, to your point, Mike, he says it. He's like, "That's amazing." Like he just delivers it very just wow.
He delivers it spot on.
His whole intro scene as he's making his way through the science fair, he has a few good lines all the way leading up.
The next one I have is when Mitch is saying, "Oh, my mom and dad, they don't really know what I'm saying." He's like, "I'm sure about that." Like he's like, half the time they don't know what I'm saying. He's like, "I'm sure." He's just like, there it is. That
part where I get nervous and feel like I am 100% him is when he's talking to Mitch by themselves, and the old lady runs up again and starts yelling and screaming, "Oh, it's you!" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll be right there. I'll be right there." And he goes right back to serious face, like, "I'll deal. Yeah, I'm playing with you, but I'm serious about this." And I'm like, "Oh shit." I do that a lot.
You have to though, right? You have to be like. In life, you have to be able to like make that be like, all right, I got you. I know where we're at, but I'm also doing something real. So I'm going to give you 0% of my brain power, and you won't know. And then I'm going to give the rest to the actual thing I'm doing. I love that. I love that.
I watched last night's show about isotopes, and I have one question: is that your real hair?
I'll admit, I fell for it. I thought there was a real question coming.
She sells it. She sells
it. She really did.
Yeah.
And talk about casting. I still, to this day, don't believe that's not his real mother.
That's a good call.
They look identical to me.
Now that you say it, yeah, that's not bad.
Like their
Not
whole
bad.
side profile,
Sure.
they look identical.
It's a good call. It's a very good call.
I looked it up again. I've looked it up. I think I look it up every time that I watch the movie, and I know who it is. I know who the actress is, and I know it's not his mother. But every time I see it, I'm like, God damn!
You're just hoping for a
Josh
change.
Franco. Yeah.
It's like the biggest, like the biggest, like long con ever. Be like, it is his mother. We fooled you for years.
I like that the dad follows up that question with like, he goes, yeah.
The
Did you get a signing bonus?
The dad is such a piece of shit. Like the mom is like a doofus, but you at least get the idea that she cares. The dad is just like, whatever. Like, I'm a dad. I didn't really. It's obviously like an unplanned pregnancy, and he's just like, man, I'm just riding this out. Hopefully, he's a genius.
Alcoholic. Go ahead, Taylor.
As soon as he realized the kid couldn't catch a football, he was kind of off board.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
He's like, well, we got nothing in common. And moving along.
The alcoholic mice is totally my science project. Mail that one in. That's easy.
It's sad when I saw the mouse just sleeping on the wheel, and I was just like, it doesn't look that bad, honestly. And I was like, I don't know if I would want to be the one in the water.
They're so hyper. Calm down.
Everyone take it easy.
Everyone's
Come over here, have a drink.
You're right.
Relax. I mean, Chris Knight's job interview.
Pretty
Amazing.
good.
God.
Absolutely
pretty
amazing. So good.
I will say to about that. I love when the guy who's like showing around opens the door, but then he goes through the other.
the push-pull door. That's a great scene. That's great.
And he also gives him a nod as he's going through the other door. He's like, I love that. It's very funny.
So good.
Yeah.
Why are you wearing that thing on your head? Because if I wear it anywhere else, it chafes.
Oh, goodness.
You are Chris Knight, right? I hope so. I'm wearing his underwear.
I mean, this was set up for Kilmer to just. I mean, maybe not him, but like that character to just like.
Yeah.
One-liners like, and that's why I love the movie. Like, it's set up for, again, the character, but Val Kilmer just shine. Like, just
He did.
saying fun. Like, he's set up so many times for those one-liners, and they all make sense, which is also cool. Like in the whole big thing of the movie, like nothing he says is out of left field. Like you can see why he would like his character would respond to a comment.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that. I think it's just really well done.
I have no doubt that either one of us could do this role.
Right.
We got this script. We could have done this role. We couldn't have done it as well as he did this role. He crushed.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and that
His
comes
timing
back to
is
like
impeccable, right?
Amazing.
It's the way he delivers lines is so perfect.
Amazing. When he gets me, every time I watch the movie, like the jokes are the jokes. They're very good. They're written. The timing's good.
Sure.
The pacing's good. When he gets me is when he talks Mitch into staying in college. That's the first time that he becomes like really serious, and he actually does like Val Kilmer.
Sure.
And he fucking crushes that whole thing.
That's a great call.
So
when you're talking when he comes back into the room
after the phone call,
yes, and he does the water from the fish tank.
Yes.
Right? He takes a sip and he says,
very
funny. You can leave if you want, but then he mouths, "No way."
Yep.
I don't know if you caught that, but he mouthed that you can leave, but he knows he's not going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Taylor, if you caught that.
I didn't.
But then, Michael, like what you were saying, he goes into the explanation.
I was you when he was like when he says they stuffed me in a mailbox. Did I tell you that? And he was like, I was like you. I ruined the bell curve. I did all this. Like he was just trying to help that kid. That whole point. That's when he like grabs me. I'm like, God damn, he's
Sure.
He's.
I totally agree.
Yep.
It's
there.
no, it's a good call. It's a pivotal scene for obviously for the movie, but again for Kilmer, I agree, because up to that he's just he's being ridiculous,
Yeah.
joke, and again all good stuff acting wise.
Absolutely.
Like that is like a very like clear cut, and it's very abrupt. It's all of a sudden just like boom, like you see it and then he delivers it and it's believable, which is funny because everything he's done up to that point is just so outlandish. The fact that you can do that and like you can believe that he could as a character do that, it's great.
Yeah.
So was this because again, like I saw this and now I want to watch more of Val Kilmer. But obviously he's very young in the movie. Is this his first bigger role? Was he already like an established actor?
This is, I mean, Michael, you probably speak better of this, but I believe this is one of his first major. Maybe not his first, but
Yeah. So this is his first movie role as an
Really?
actor.
yeah, okay, I didn't know that.
And then
Okay.
immediately after this movie was Top Gun.
Jeez.
Really?
Yeah. So he did
So
some.
what did wasn't he in another movie like this, like Top Secret or something?
Yeah, Top Secret. You're right. Top Secret came out in '84. You're right.
Okay.
So Top Secret, and then he did some ABC special,
Okay.
That's
and then he did Real Genius, and then Top Gun, and then he went off on his. I don't know what the hell he did. His career is crazy.
When he walks in and he calls him Jerry, and he says, "I told you don't get to use my first name."
Did I?
Did I? Did I? You're doing it
Good.
again.
Don't touch other people's things. The when they get to the party and he Hathaway busts it up, and he's walking out, and the one guy's like, "Dr. Hathaway," and he goes, "What? You're wearing
Are you
makeup?"
wearing makeup?
And then the girl that he's talking, she's turning around, she's like,
Yep. I got that one.
"Fantastic, so good." Some people get fired for that, Cincinnati Reds. A lot of things happen.
Did he get fired, or is it fired, or just suspended?
Yeah, suspended, right?
Professor Hathaway's having the meeting with the guys
Yes,
from
he
the
is.
government, and he meets what's her name for the first time,
Yes, he does.
and he talks to her and he says his and he goes, "Which word didn't you understand?" When he says that, I love that part.
It's pretty good.
It's probably my favorite line from the movie. I got to be honest.
Dr. Hathaway asked me to come over. What do you ask you to do?
What?
What did you
Which
understand?
word did you understand?
And then what does she ask him to do? What does she ask?
Nail a put a nail in a board. Can you nail
She says a
6-inch
measurement.
6
a
foot?
6-inch nail into a board with your penis?
Yes.
Not
Not right now.
And he says, "I
Not
like her,
right
she's
now, and
smart."
she says, "Well, a girl
That's a
has to
smart
have her
girl.
standards." No, she says a girl has to have her standards, and then he walks
Yes.
in like, "That's smart girl."
Have you seen a body like this in your life?
It's my
It's
daughter.
my daughter. Well, I guess you have that.
Yeah. I mean, that whole exchange is spot on. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's really
It's- Especially because after that, Hathaway's like, "Don't go on the carpet." He's like, and he walks on the carpet. And he's like,
Oh, I
"Take your
love
shoes
that.
off." And he
Yeah.
just walks in and takes shoes. Like
So
he doesn't
good.
listen at all. Like, or is
The
that
popcorn
that
thing?
is that one?
That is that one, yeah.
Yeah.
The first one with the popcorn.
good. Yeah.
He's
He's
like,
like sit on the porch.
Did you? The first time I realized the connection was the time I watched it this time, which is Hathaway says, "I hate the smell of popcorn," and then they put popcorn in the house. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Like I got
Like
that
the
it was
the giant Jiffy Pop, right?
Yeah.
It's
So
essentially
good.
what they do.
I never put the two together though. Like I never caught that when he says I hate the smell of popcorn that's why they did the popcorn. I just
Yeah.
never.
Absolutely. And then he just drops it on his
Yeah, put it over
On his
there and he
front
just
doorstep.
dropped it.
So
See, I
many-
thought he was gonna take it inside with him, like and just blatantly ignore him. That is even funnier that he just drops it and you just see like a few pieces of popcorn spill out.
I hate popcorn. Good. Now I know what to get you for Christmas.
Yeah.
I feel like we just haven't talked about.
We haven't talked about a lot of stuff, by the way.
I know, but
Movie.
I feel like the main one that we definitely haven't talked about was, what was his name? Holloway? Was it Holloway? The guy with
Holloway is amazing.
who goes into the closet.
Holyfeld.
Ollie. It's his first name is Ollie. Hollifeld, right?
Yeah. He's amazing.
No, it's Laszlo Holyfeld.
There it is. Laszlo. I don't know where I came from, Ollie.
Yep.
Yeah, probably just drunk.
But yeah, I thought
sorry, go ahead,
that part was so weird. I was just like, I mean, I knew that they would connect it, obviously, at some point. But they actually did it pretty. I don't know. I think it worked out. I think this whole movie for me it took a long time for the story to actually get going. Like, it was a while in, and I was like, is there going to be like an actual plot to it? Because it just seems like, I mean, like, Val Kilmer could have done like his whole shtick, the whole movie. I mean, right? And credits could have rolled, and I would have been like, okay, that's a funny movie. But the whole time I was like, is there like a real plot? And obviously the intro sort of set it up. But yeah, I just kept on waiting. So the way that they actually circled back and made everything, come around and everything connected was cool for me. I was really wondering the whole time. I was like, what is the actual point of this movie? And Holyfeld, was a big part of it, and I think it really did come full circle. It was a
when Holyfeld comes upstairs when they're studying really hard, and he's like, I looked up every question that Hathaway's ever given.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, is that them? He's like, no, I'm the Frito-Lay thing. Oh, so where are the questions? He's like, I memorized them. Val Kilmer's like, oh, sure. Obviously.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Like how Mitch was
And
like,
Mitch is like, I gotta go to sleep. He's like, I'm done. I don't want to be here. He's like, I'm out.
is that when he asked, do you need a pair of pajamas? And he's like,
Yes.
no, I'm good.
Yep.
One of my favorite lines of the entire movie that we haven't touched upon yet, and I'm shocked I've let it go the entire time, is the scene with the nitrogen before he cuts the coins. When when Mitch goes, I had a dream last night.
Oh, you beat me to it. Okay, go ahead.
And Val Kilmer says, "Is when your sundress robes," and he stops. Why am I the only person that has
that dream? Yeah.
So good.
That is a line that I use all the time. Like, I'll put it in different contexts.
You use that, by the way.
It'll be in different contexts. It'll always be like, why am I the only person that thinks that? Why am I the only person that has that dream? Like when somebody says something, I'll play. If I can make it fit, I'll make it fit. And they'll say no, and I'll be like, why am I the person that does that? All the time. I love that line. His
really
face is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so bewildered.
He's
Why does
genuinely
anybody have a dream where they're dressed in robes and they throw pickles at you? Why don't you understand?
Tiny pickles. I had closed captioning on, and it didn't catch the sun god part. Like it skipped over it, the sun god robes. It just said robes, and like I heard it, I didn't like read it, and I was like, oh man, not even closed captioning can keep up with how funny that was. Just spot on.
It's a great line. I love that line. Another great line, which kind of gets lost because it's not the characters you're watching or focused on, is when the dude who works for the government but is also friends with Jerry is talking to him about, like, he's finally losing his mind. He's like, you have to get this done. And Jerry's like, or Hathaway, and he's like, it's coming. He's like, coming? It's not even breathing hard. That
I
love that.
No way.
line.
Really? Is that a real line?
So amazing. Yeah.
I definitely missed that.
Yeah. Is that
You don't understand. This guy is dangerous. You need to get this done. And he goes, it's coming. I have exams. He goes, coming. It's not even breathing hard. You gotta get this done. It's so good.
Well done, Sarah. I had no idea that was.
Oh my God.
That's a great pull.
That line is friggin' amazing.
Speaking of quotes that I had written down, just to touch upon them before we wrap up. Although that one's tough to follow because I definitely missed that one. But where he asked the one kid in the group, the kid who has a stutter. And he's like, "Oh, I'm not stuttering anymore." And he's he's like, "It's the electric shock." And he's like, "Up the voltage."
Up the I was like, "You better." And he was like, "Or what?" And I was like, "You'll be in trouble." And he was like, "Jamming." And that was, oh, good story. I noticed you don't stutter. I've used electric shock treatments. Up the voltage.
That's so good.
That's the fact, Jack! That's the fact, Jack!
A fun fact, that Frito-Lay scene, so when Mitch goes in the closet and goes down in and sees him like doing the whole thing, this movie was based on Caltech, I believe, and that actually happened
It was
at
called
Caltech.
Pacific Tech, by the way, which is
The movie is Pacific Tech, yeah?
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's like a community college now. Just throwing it out there.
In real life, it was, I guess, Caltech, and in Caltech, 2 kids actually did that. They did the whole contest, enter as many times as you like. It was for McDonald's, and ended up winning like 10 point whatever amount of money that they could win from doing what he did. And then the next year, McDonald's changed the contest rules and said you can't do it anymore. You have to do that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
As he said it, I was like, that doesn't sound right. He had a 32% chance to win all the major prizes, including the car. Yeah. He realized he needed material possessions, as he put it.
So good.
Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
So you guys
Hey,
definitely.
Taylor, real quick. We don't need your life story. Just tell us your.
Let's get into it.
Dear
See,
Lord.
it's your fault.
My
PJ.
God.
It
Oh,
is your
hey,
fault.
all right, this one
You
time,
cut off Michael.
I gotta
and
cut
now
him
you're
on
cutting
the
me off. Jesus, I really hope that you have the most eloquent freaking review of all time because you're really building up to one. So
Don't worry about it.
So Michael makes me like the movie a whole lot more. PJ just makes me hate my life. I came into this thinking this movie's a 3-star. I'm gonna go ahead, give it a soft 4. And I think just talking about it, bouncing ideas off of you guys and everything that I saw, it makes me really like this movie. And I guess to Michael's point, it's probably going to be a movie that I just throw on and just have on in the background just to kind of pass the time. It's just one of those movies that's super easy to watch. You don't have to be super invested. It's funny, one-liners, just all day long. It's great. So soft 4. I was really happy with this one. First time seeing it, and I look forward to watching it again.
That's awesome.
Real genius. I right in line with both of you. It's 4 stars. It's not there for 5. And honestly I don't even want. It's a 4-star. Kilmer is great. The cast in general is good. Michael, you said it with the teacher. I think the way he plays that character is spot on. I mean, you hate him, but you also like him somehow. Like he's a likable, hateable character. Yep. And he plays that role through the 80s, so it's great. Like I said, initial thoughts. Mitch, I think is a good character. I think he ties the movie together and lets Kilmer do what he is going to do in the movie. He basically Mitch plays a straight guy and lets Val Kilmer just do what he wants. Do those one-liners, be hilarious, and carry the movie, and Val Kilmer does. It's just a super entertaining movie. There's nothing you can fault it. Like, if you look at it as what it's trying to do, which is just a funny 80s movie, and it hits every note you want. So for me, 4 easy. Val Kilmer obviously is the catalyst for the movie, but I'd say Mitch's character is the one that brings it all together, and the professor being a dick adds to it. 4-star. I'll watch it again multiple times. It's a good movie.
To your point, I want to thank you actually, because I never really realized or actually looked at Mitch's character in that aspect. But yeah, you're right. Like, he's the perfect straight. He's
right?
the perfect Dean Martin to Val Kilmer's Jerry.
Sure.
He's just setting him up, and then Val Kilmer knocks him out. He's really good at that part. I didn't realize that until you had brought it up, but yeah, that's really good.
I thought that was Ted, but no. I think, I really do think his character is key to the whole movie in general. I mean, you believe him as a young, genius who's put in this situation, and then it lets that whole setup, and then how he plays it, lets Val Kilmer do his thing.
Yep, you're right, and that's why I give it a 4-star as well. All right, that's going to do it for us. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please join us next time when we pair Back to School with Jack Daniels. Until then, cheers.
We have fun here, everyone.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.